The world says we're supposed to be consumers of everything. Food, entertainment, technology, sex. We're supposed to just consume as much as possible. That's what they want us to do. They want us to be constantly gathering things onto ourselves because we deserve it. But that's not really what happens in God's economy. That's not how God sees things, and especially not how he sees sex and intimacy. The way God sees it, sex is a gift to be given in the right context. Hi, I'm JJ, and welcome back to the Warehouse Whiteboard. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you've joined us to see a little bit about what we're talking about in Warehouse Youth Ministry. And last night we continued our conversation on moral boundaries and specifically sex and intimacy and what God's plan is for us in that, what his best is for us. And we started last night with our conversation reminding ourselves that sex is a gift, but then we went back to Scripture to learn a little bit more about what God's plan is. And we went to Matthew 22 where we read the greatest commandment. And the greatest commandment, if I can grab a little visual for us here, is to love first. We're supposed to love, and we were supposed to love God, and we're supposed to love others. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love God, love others. It's a summary of the 10 Commandments that we talked about the week before. And we noticed last night as we were talking through Matthew 22 that the commands we're given is that this is love that we are to give. It's about love that we give. It's not about things that we receive necessarily. We give our love first to God. And from that abundance, we have love to give to other people. We came to that conclusion that love is about what we give. And in the giving, we might receive. But it's not giving in order to receive. It's giving just to give. Because that's how God made us. And sex is the same way. It's not about getting or consuming. It's about what we have to give, this great gift that God has given us to share in the context that he's prescribed, in the midst of that loving, trusting, committed, married relationship. God has given us great gifts. Sex is one of those. And he's given us a boundary to live within in which we can experience that gift. And we highlighted that with our students again last night. We talked very little about questions like how far is too far, and more of how do we live into God's best for us. If we can start here at loving God and loving others and let that be the dominant thought process in our life, then the rest of the things start to take care of themselves. We do need an understanding of boundaries. Absolutely. But boundaries without foundation, this love that is given to us that we can give to others, aren't as effective. And so that's why we focused on what God's plan is, his best plan for intimacy and for sex in our lives. And that is to experience that gift within the gift of marriage. And so we'll continue talking about this again next week as we dive further into what God's best is in our lives, especially as it pertains to sex and intimacy. And we will see you next time.